yung opinion ninyo at ng economic team kung tanggalin ang VAT sa mga pagkain na basic commodities gaya ng delata, bigas wala gulay wala, yung mga sa palengke wala naman. Let's say noodles at process, yung mga delata, hindi mga imported, yung mga mura. Kasi sinabi nyo na syempre ang consumption, household consumption, maaapektuhan dahil sa pag-remit ng OFWs na will be less, and of course, mahal ang bilihin. Pero kung tanggalin nyo ang 12% VAT para mas mura ang bilihin sa lower income, at mababawi naman yan kasi bibilin yan ng pagkain. Yung mga binibili sa sari-sari store o sa palengke na napapatawan ng VAT. Kasi for me, bakit may 12% VAT sa noodles at sa sardinas? 12% VAT din ang sa imported na mga bag na 100 or 200,000. It does not make sense. Sa basic commodities na kinakain ng lower income group ay hindi ba dapat hindi patawan ng 12% na VAT? Subukan natin sa panahon ng krisis at i-compute natin yung mawawala. Sasabihin na naman nyo, malaking mawawala. Gawin lang natin efficient ang gobyerno nakita naman natin ang laki-laki ng mga ninanakaw sa gobyerno sa pag-implement ng mga proyekto O di, tanggalin ang pagnanakaw o bawasan o edi yung systems loss o yung inefficiency ay i-improve, because it does not make sense to me that binibigyan natin ng 12% VAT ang luxury bags na hundreds of thousands, luxury goods and sin goods, pero ang sardinas at noodles na mura ay may 12% VAT pa rin. Example, hanggang sa gamot, yung over-the-counter medicines, paracetamol, yung 50 pesos, isang banig ng paracetamol, magiging 45. Sabi na, 5 piso lang yan. Pero malaking bagay 5 piso. Isang benda na 60 pesos, ang halaga magiging 54 pesos. So, just the over-the-counter basic meds and the goods na usually kinakain ng mabilisan. I leave that to NEDA, SEC, Balisakan. Alam kong sasabihin na naman ng DOF, nandyan kayo, aray. Pero sa panahon ng krisis, paano? Kasi yun ang gusto po namin makita. Ano ang agarang mararamdaman na gagawin? Kasi yung kaninang pinag-usapan ng excise tax, 30 days kailangan na 80 pesos mabibreach. 30 days. Hindi pa nga napipirmahan yung batas ni Presidente. So, ang tagal. Sabi nga ni Senrisa, 30 to 45 days yun ang sinabi ng chair. Ito, meron din nakahain na paano ka lang batas. Tapos sinabi din ni Senbam kanina, yung VAT isama natin. Kailangan meron tayong basket of good news na agarang aksyon. Idagdag ang VAT. I-implement kagad yung excise tax na pagtanggal. Tanggalin ang 12% sa mga pagkain na delata. Iwanan sa sin items, iwanan ang luxury items. I just want to put that on the table. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Just very quickly.
Senator Kiko and then Senator Risa.
I just got, I was listening to the DepDev, the migrant workers, the FA, energy. I read in the papers that a crisis committee is to be created. Can anyone answer? Has it been created? I read in the papers that a crisis committee will be formed by the executive department.
Yeah.
Can anyone answer? Is this true? Do you confirm it? Are you going to meet soon?
Mr. Chairman, we actually have met a couple of times already.
Okay.
In
Good.
fact, right after when the February 28th incident in Iran happened, the next day we were all summoned to the palace, and it's a series of continuous meetings. all together with the people in this room.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
it's just we've already convened it multiple times.
So maybe there might be some communications problem also, no? Because hindi namin alam sa Senate. So hindi rin namin alam, kami ba kailangan nyo ba ng tulong namin? Yung pagpupulong ninyo sa crisis committee, ano na pag-usapan ninyo? So maybe baka no, we might have to have a bet, baka mas kailangang mas maliwanag na direksyon. Dahil ang taong bayan may agam-agam, baka mas kailangan ng maliwanag na pagpapaliwanag ng anong gagawin natin. Dahil kung kami sa Senado, hindi namin alam, nagmi-meeting na pala yung crisis committee, lalo na ang taong bayan. No? So maybe after this hearing later on, mag-usap kayo. Please relate to the President our suggestion that I think the crisis committee has to be more visible, and that there should be better coordination as well and communication between the committee and Congress.
Well noted, Mr. Chairman, but rest assured that most of the meetings that took place were part of the executive side, meaning all of them were for executive execution, like the different subsidies that we're rolling out. But we'll make sure to relay your message, Mr. Chairman.
Maraming salamat.
Senator Risa, and then Senator Lauren for.
Salamat, Mr. Chair. There was a point mentioned earlier na I hope Sec Balisacan can perhaps comment on in the rest of his presentation. I think I heard nabanggit na baka hindi naman maapektuhan yung presyo ng bigas. But there's already actually warnings about it na yung impact ng krisis sa imported fertilizer mararamdaman natin sa pagbagsak ng rice yields and therefore pag-contract ng supply at pagtaas ng rice prices by August. Dahil kung nagmamahal ang imported fertilizers, binanggit ni Sec RC kanina, at doon na nga nakatarget yung 3.2B item sa supplemental budget for farmers in the next 3 months na pinopropose ko. Kapag daw ang mga fertilizers na ito hindi natin nabili by this month in March, magti-trigger daw siya ng massive harvest decline by August. And alam natin, pag mas limitado ang supply, talagang mas magiging mahal para sa mga pamilyang Pilipino. So I wonder if Sec RC could speak to that also in the rest of his presentation. And lastly, Mr. Chair, I'm waiting to hear if DepDev will have any advice on yung pinag-uusapang stagflation. Kasi ang sakit, no, it's a double whammy na kung mag-underproduce yung iba't ibang sektor ng ating ekonomiya, so again, supply constraints, mas mahal na presyo ng mga bilihin. Pero dahil inflation, di dobleng mas hindi abot kamay sa mga pamilyang Pilipino. If DepDev has any advice for how the Senate can support cushioning that kind of a double shock sa ating mga kababayan. Salamat, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Can I request the good secretaries to take note of the questions of our colleagues on VAT, possible removal of VAT, how to address stagflation, possible transfer effects of inflation to agricultural products and eventually affecting our food security. Let's take note on that. We'll allow Secretary Balisacan to finish his presentation, and then later on we can discuss all of those.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll come back to some of the questions later after I completed this presentation. But let me say, go back to what I was saying earlier. The slowdown in the economy that may arise as a result of those of the crisis would impact unemployment. Based on the scenarios, the number of unemployed Filipinos would rise from roughly 200,000 to 750,000 workers, depending on the scenario. Again, the scenario 5 is the worst. Okay. All right. And again, these scenarios assume that we are not doing anything. But the fact is, as I will come back later, we are actually doing anything, and many of these scenarios could be the effects of the scenarios could be tempered. The last one, Mr. Chair, is the effects on poverty. Obviously, poverty, if we do nothing, will rise. Recall that the PDP's target is to achieve a single-digit poverty incidence by the end of this administration. It would be challenging under any of these scenarios to achieve that unless we refocus our efforts, as have been already mentioned, to address those critical issues. In terms of the individuals, we are talking about an increase from 80,000 to, again, roughly 3/4 of a million additional number of Filipinos becoming poor as a result of any of this, as a result of this disturbances, depending on the scenario played. Okay, let me come back to the recommendations, and these are quite broad recommendations, and while they are framed as recommendations, many of these are actually, or practically all of them, are already part of the development efforts. They are in our PDP, they are being executed, but I think what might be needed is to accelerate some of them, and let me run through them. First is we must sustain and enhance the targeted subsidies. I think that I'm glad to hear that there is such effort to use targeting and a targeted approach rather than a helicopter approach where you send a helicopter to drop the bale of money and hoping that everyone will get. I think that that's less efficient than targeting the vulnerable and the sectors like the transport, logistics, farmers and fisher folk, and so on, which again we are doing, and what we need to do is to flesh this out further to ascertain the duration of these interventions, because and the amount needed for each of these interventions, and therefore whether we need supplemental funds or not has to be guided by such exercise.